Oh my, it's Kellee White.
Hey, it's James Van Praagh.
What are you up to?
Thinking about changing the world.
Me too. We should do a show together.
What would it be about?
Let me show you.
The James and Kellee Show. I love that. It never gets tiring to me. I love it.
I
Hi.
love the people laughing and then it fades. Like, where'd they go to? And then we pop up.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Kellee. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Just did some planting today, so.
Oh, fabulous.
Yes.
Wasn't that a fun week? Friday night? We had a great time Friday night.
I still can't get over Sandy Koufax. It was pretty amazing.
Thanks for everybody that was there, that participated. It was a lot of fun. It was a great evening of messages, and you were on fire, and it was great.
And you were, and the teaching was great. The teaching was really, I knew something was different when I started. And I said something about, I feel like I'm at a race, at the end of the race, and I want all of you to come and see what I see. It's so beautiful.
Yes.
I was like, where is that coming from? Obviously, Spirit was just starting to channel through me, because that was pretty incredible. And that's the truth of my work too. Whenever I do my work, like messages, I always wish people could see what I see or feel what I feel, and their perspective would change so much.
Yes. And I loved
You
how
know that.
I do. And I also loved how you were talking about, how many souls were there with us.
Yeah. Right away at the beginning when I was trying to tune in. And there, for those that did not see this, it was Friday night was a spirit event, an evening of spirit messages. And Kellee and I do probably once a month now, or twice a month. And so we haven't worked since November. And when I first started opening up, I was aware of all these spirits around me, and the animals. And it was really interesting because I'm usually very aware of them and kind of in a line that my guides will set them up. But at this time they were all around, and it was really hard to decipher which, but it worked. It certainly worked, but they're all jumping in to say hello.
Yes. It was a lot of fun. It was a great evening. Wow. And thank you for your great meditation on bad siblings on Saturday. So we had a busy weekend, everybody. It was a busy Friday and Saturday.
And a great show. And they can find it on your website, can't they? The replay of the show?
The Bad Siblings? Yes. You can, kelleewhite.com. And it's going to be for sale in a couple of days. I think they're still working on it.
Great show. Yeah. Good idea.
Wow. So today,
how do you grow spiritually?
Yes.
Topic.
Well, I think it's a great topic because we're in a place right now, going into COVID for the second year. It's time to continue to grow. I mean, we have to keep growing. So we've got some great ideas of how to continue on that path, on that journey.
And it's really interesting because I think whether it's obvious or not, we're conscious of it. The topics we get many times are from Facebook comments and things that are out there in the zeitgeist. And a lot of people have asked, through this COVID experience, what am I supposed to do? How do I grow my spirituality? How do I become more spiritual? Right. So Kellee and I thought this would be a great topic for us to do today. So we're going to talk about that. And so first of all, what do you think the difference is between, a lot of people will mix up spirituality and religion. And even if you Google it, if you Google spirituality, you get a whole bunch of Christian references. Like, wait a minute, this is not spirituality necessarily.
Right.
What would you say about that, Kellee?
Well, religion to me has too many boundaries to it. It has too many restrictions to it. And spirituality is everything. It's nature. It's your soul. It's everything. It's everything.
So I looked on the internet because I wanted to see what I found. But the difference between religion and spirituality is exactly what you said. And I believe there's some pretty clear ways in which religion and spirituality differ. Religion, there's a specific set of organized beliefs, practices, usually shared by a community or group. And it's a dogma. It's a belief system, if you will. Where spirituality, this is more of an individual practice and has to do with having a sense of peace and purpose. It also relates to the process of developing beliefs around the meaning of life and connection with others without any set spiritual values.
I love that.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
I think it's what it's about, knowing yourself. Anyway, said every week, their own self be true.
Yes.
So I think spirituality is growing in your own sense of self and awareness and having that connection to your true self, your soul self and your origin, and just becoming aware of that connection to that and to everybody.
Oh yeah. Well, people will say to me, a lot of my clients will say, "Well, I'm Catholic or I'm Christian or I'm Jewish or I'm whatever." I'm like, "And so what? So you can't go any further than that?" I mean, it's really about going a little further than that.
Yeah, I was indoctrinated in Catholicism and actually
Okay.
going to be a priest. I went to a seminary, a preparatory seminary. So at 14, I was away from home in the preparatory seminary.
Wow.
Little Jamie. Yeah.
I can't imagine,
That
honestly.
bullied the first day I was there. Bullied. They put a mop in my bed
Oh.
the first night. Yeah,
Ah,
because I was probably 4'10". Who knows?
yikes.
Anyway, it was very interesting because at the Easter time, every student had to go into the altar. I guess it was an altar or a room off the altar and say prayers or whatever they called it. And I sat there, and I remember that voice came into my head very clearly. You have to find God outside these four walls. God can only be found outside these four walls. And I went,
Wow.
wow, that was interesting and true. I think that, and I'll always say that my origin, my beginning of spirituality, I wouldn't be doing this today if I didn't have that groundwork, if you will, of that organized religion. Because it certainly got me, I don't know, thinking or the sense of being in that community and the sense of thinking outside oneself that there's a greater force. And the golden rule, which I still live by, that was, of course, from that religion for
Mm.
me. I loved going to mass because I loved all the songs. I loved
Mhm.
the ritualistic part of it.
Right,
I didn't know
sure.
what they were talking about, drinking the blood and killing the body, or eating a body and drinking blood for an 8-year-old or a 7-year-old. It sounds kind of gruesome. I didn't know what that meant. I wrote that in one of my books because as children, what are you teaching them? Anyway, it's all symbolic, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's. I also think we have to be careful with religion because some people don't have that can think for themselves, and they want to follow these tenets or rules that will apply that they don't have to be responsible for themselves. They'll just follow those
Yes.
rules, and
Yes.
they give up their power.
Right, right. Well, and with spirituality, you're learning about yourself. It's a constant growth for yourself.
It's an expansion, of
It's
course.
a,
And
mhm,
with religion, I often say that every religion has bits of the truth, but
mhm.
not any one religion has all the truth.
Yeah.
And then says, well, what's your religion? I say, love. Love is the closest thing I say to religion
Um,
because that's really what it's
yes.
about, love.
Yes. Yes. It's so true.
And
Wow.
a lot of people have asked us, how do we grow spiritually? A lot of people have been angry about COVID,
Mhm.
depressed about COVID. Think the life's going to change, which something that got me is getting me through this, and a lot. And I'm not sure you probably were the one that said this to me, or that the earth, we're always moving. There's always movement, constant movement,
Mhm.
movement. Nothing's stable, nothing's steady.
No.
Right now, as we're sitting here, things are moving because the
Mhm.
earth is spinning right now. And this, what we think is solid, the desk or the computer, it's not. It's just a certain
Right.
frequency of vibration. But things are always moving. They're always in flux.
We
And
will
as long as
always continue. We will always grow and continue.
we're always moving. So if
Mhm.
you can get to that perspective, I think spirituality also is opening up to a different perspective, perhaps, of things, and that has helped me really past 2 weeks about that sense of movement all the time, movement. Because my roommate moved out, and and something's happened here, things change in
Mhm.
everybody's life right now, with
Mhm.
astrologically. But so it's really is embracing the movement of and change. Like the only constant in life
Mhm.
is change. It's true.
Right. And embracing it is important. And to just go with it, continue to go, continue to not be afraid of change. This
No,
change that we're going
embrace it.
into is good. Embrace it. This is
Embrace
all
the
going
change.
to be good. Change is good. It helps us grow. It helps us grow spiritually and it
We,
helps
we,
us grow.
we'd be very bored otherwise. We really
Oh,
would.
can you imagine? Yes.
But the Buddhists have a great saying, which is you can't push the river, which is great
Ah,
because you got to go with the flow. And when we get out of control, because we feel like we have to control things, and we have no control. The only thing
oh,
we can control is how we perceive things, how we receive things. But
right.
what setting boundaries, that's control. But you can't control the people. You can't control situations per se.
No.
But you got to be strong within yourself. So I think spirituality also a sense of self, a strong sense of self, belief in self,
Yes.
a faith in self, and that evolution of self.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes.
You know?
And in this lifetime, everybody should use this lifetime to grow spiritually.
It's true. I'm here. I have a couple of things I printed out. Why
Yeah.
do people practice spirituality? Well, life can be full of ups and downs, good times and bad. Many people see spirituality as a great way to seek comfort and peace in their life. It can also be
Yeah.
practiced along things like yoga and focuses on stress relief and release of emotion. And it's also a way of gaining perspective, which is true. And
Right.
one thing about spirituality which has helped me is realize the greaterness, the greatness, the
Right.
vastness, if you will, of life. Um, I,
Right.
I remember very well when an audience member asked me about the level of the earth people, this earth level. We're already
Mhm.
spiritually speaking. What level are we on? And the spirit guides came through and they said, and it was kind of, I don't know why you're laughing. They said, the earth is like a speck of sand on the beach. That's how immense it is.
Wow.
The vastness of the universe is
Wow.
millions,
Wow.
millions of galaxies, not just this one, millions of them. So,
Wow. That's
and
amazing. Wow. Kyle Elizabeth Hodges. I've been trying to grow more spiritually since February of 2018. I'm still learning and pushing the envelope outside the mailbox lately. Oh, I like that. I think it's all due in part with your school, James. This week, especially since I have to make a big decision to put my horse down due to Cushing's disease. It's really weighing on me today. Oh, I'm sorry, Kyle.
sorry, Kyle. Really sorry. Sorry. I know. I lost my dog to Cushing's disease just 2 months
Mm,
ago. So I feel for you. One thing I just got just from that post was patience is needed here. Patience is needed here. And that's very true. And you know this now, Kyle. You're practicing this. Patience is a major part of it. And one of the greatest lessons in this life is patience. It's a
mhm.
virtue we learn. And it's
Yeah.
going to be okay. Your horse will live, not going to be over, but definitely out of pain, which is a great thing you're doing for the horse. It's an act of love. It's an amazing act of unconditional love. Hard for the human, hard, but I just lost my doggy, and he's around me all the time. And
Yeah.
really, I said, "Come on, Boo Boo," and he's out running doing something else. I'm like, he's busy, but they're always around us. They're always going to be with us. So you always have that love too. You have
Yeah.
the awareness, Kyle, that a lot of people don't have yet. So, because you studied, you opened your mind to look at things a different way. You know different things, and knowledge is power.
Yeah. Knowledge is power. Laura Isig says, we are constantly evolving, growing. I tend to my garden daily and try to nourish so I can continue to grow. Great.
Perfect. That's great, Laura. Great. I
Yes.
know Laura. Great, Laura. And I'm also reading, the spirituality recognizes that your role in life has a greater value than what you do every day. It can relieve you from dependence on material things, very true, and help you to understand your life's greater purpose. Spirituality can also be used as a way of coping with change or uncertainty. So it's very, very true. So,
Yes.
and there are different ways to express yourself spiritually. And meditation is one, of course.
Hmm.
Yoga, another one. I do Pilates,
Hmm.
and like I do gardening as well. That really helps. And
Creative, being creative, doing anything creative
right, creative
helps.
artwork
Hmm.
helps. And yeah, anything creative, very true. I'm designing garden things right now. Um,
One of the things that I can say that helps with spirituality, if you're really wanting to grow spiritually, learn to forgive and let go.
wow, yes, big one, big one, big
It's a
one,
big one.
big
And
one.
if you have trouble with that because you've been wronged or any of this, you might want to really go consider, because you had talked about this on Soul Care today, consider going into somatic experience therapy. And that's at healingtrauma.org. Because often when there's some anger issue, you're holding it in the body, somatizing it in the body, and working with a good therapist, even if you just had a couple of sessions with this, it could really help release it. And it makes forgiveness easier. You forgive for yourself. You forgive for yourself. But when you do that, you grow spiritually. And boy, you feel it's an amazing feeling to let go of the things you've been holding on to.
The weight is let go. That weight is let go. And
Right?
also, I've worked on people and for many, many years, whether they're in audiences or workshops, and I didn't know anything about them. And it came up that there was some stuck energy around the heart or around their
Yep.
solar plexus. And it's like, and it came from they weren't able to forgive somebody, a friend, an
Yep.
employer, and that's stuck inside the energetic body because everything is movement. But when you have that, you cannot forgive. You're holding on to that. You hold on to it. It just tightens everything, and the energy can't flow through the body freely. So it stays there and
Yeah.
starts corroding and building corrosion. And what happens ends up in
Mm.
dis-ease, right?
Yes.
Dis-ease starts building. So we don't want to do that. And it also
Yes.
affects the other generations. So if you can't
Oh,
forgive somebody in this level, in this lifetime, another lifetime, it could affect, I mean, it could further
yes.
go to your children if it
Yes.
passes on that energy. I learned that from doing my mediumship. It's passed on to the other the generation, your children.
Yeah.
So
Well, in family constellation therapy, they believe you carry 13 generations behind and 13 going forward. Can you imagine? So you
No.
want to do your forgiveness. And the other thing is when you're holding on to whatever it is you're holding on to, and talk about disease, you could get cancer, you could have heart problems, it goes into every issue. So you really want to start to think about the things that you need to let go of to grow spiritually. Frankly, holding on to anger keeps your vibration low. It keeps your vital life force low. You don't want that. You want it high, up.
That's right. It's like being tucked into, I was vision caving, like a mummy bag, don't ask, or a body bag, like a body bag. You're being zipped up and you're stuck. And that affects every part of your life, because if you can't forgive someone, it'll affect all different changes that'll happen for you in your life.
Yeah.
Can't happen if things are stuck. You stop those changes from happening because it can't move. You're stuck.
Right.
And I've seen it. I've seen it, folks. And you don't want to do that. And it's a medicine that you give yourself. You really do. It's a medicine you give yourself. And take the high road. A good friend, a mutual friend of ours told me once, take the high road. It's less traveled. It's true. Be the teacher that way.
It's so true.
Do different things. Also, I developed, I would say, also a personal practice to grow spiritually. What that practice is prayer. Prayer to God, universe, whoever you want to practice. A good friend of mine, a celebrity's mother, I'll tell you that, goes to sleep every night. And as she goes to sleep, she sends healing to all of her friends and animals. And people's animals.
I love that.
You know who this is, yes.
I do, and I love it.
I mean, that's what we do at practice. I practice mindfulness every day. So when I go in my garden, I walk out and I say, look at the flowers, the trees, and I notice the sunshine, I notice the walkway, I notice everything. And I also have gratitude at the same time. I'm thankful of this. I'm thankful. With every step I take, I have gratitude. So
speaking of gratitude, gratitude is a muscle.
True.
You have to practice it. You have to practice it. You have to become aware of it. And one of the things that I do, I say this every day, is healthy am I, happy am I, holy am I. I say that every day. I had a client, I have to share this story. I had a client very recently who we were going through a lot of some issues that were there. And I said, I want you to repeat this. And this is really for anybody who's got any sort of, I don't know, negative thoughts. I said, I want you to repeat this. I said, healthy am I? She said, healthy am I? And I said, okay, and write it down. And I said, happy am I? She said, happy am I? And then I said, holy am I? And she wrote down, lonely am I? Now, I called James immediately and he said, that's her higher self. Giving the message, that she had been lonely. So it really is an interesting way to start becoming aware of who you are as a soul, what you're doing, what you're about. It's a great practice every day to say this.
To wake up. You don't want to wake up in the spirit world. You don't want to, die, go to sleep, and wake up over there and look back and say, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't realize this when I was on Earth. Please don't do that. I wrote a book called Unfinished Business just for that reason, because I was so tired of having so many spirits come through and saying, if I knew then what I know now, I would have made different choices. I would love myself more. I would pay so much attention to the little things. And it's really important that we wake up now, here, every day, and Kelly's right. Gratitude, patience, you work with patience every day, gratitude, joy. Try to bring good deeds every day. Every day, make it a day to do something different, a good deed for somebody. Whether it's, I don't know,
great idea.
New clothes, saying a nice hello, buying food, whatever it is that comes in your path that day, change their life energetically through the words or the actions. And that has a long way to go, because it says that person, and when they interact, will go to that person. So try to do this every day, do good deeds. And it doesn't have to be big things, just small things. Open the door for someone, smile at someone, say, how are you today? Just like that.
And another tip is pay attention to everything. Pay attention to your environment. Just pay attention. Be alert. Pay attention. In other words, be really awake when you're in your daily day. And just pay attention.
I wrote down my list, but pay attention to nature was my next one.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Let's talk about that.
You're in the right. You're in the right. We're right there.
I mean,
that's psychic smart, for God's sake. It's true. And like I said, when you have that walk of nature and you're awake, you're aware of it. I mean, I'm aware of like sunset, like, oh, I look at the sun dabbles on the leaf, or the clouds look today, or, I wonder someone else in the world is looking at this at the same time. And that's another thing. Think of other people. Get away from just yourself. really kind to change other people's lives and send out loving thoughts to other people. Think of others. Think of other people's
Absolutely.
conditions. There'll always be people worse or better off. It doesn't matter. But just send positive energy to other people, strangers you don't know. Say prayers for people you don't know. I mean,
I,
Texas with a winter storm. I was
oh,
saying prayers a lot, just
I
sending out
was
thoughts to
too.
them. I
I
think
have
we
to
should.
read. I have to read this to you. Scott Huff says, "I'm friendly to the credit card operators now because of you, James."
And I bet they've worked better for you. I had a challenge about that today.
You did?
Yes, I had a challenge. Yes, I woke up to an email saying that because my dog Maisie was in the hospital. She had
Oh, that's right.
pancreatitis, as you know, and almost passed, but she didn't, thank God. But I have pet insurance and I never used it. So it was a $5,000 bill. So I went for the pet insurance and they said that we passed, you cannot get this because we need her history. So we sent her history, sent everything. But then they came back, I guess, Friday, and they said, no, her life history from going to a vet, like for 11 years, because of course they think pre-existing. But so it's just another way, scamming way. Say, oh, the person probably doesn't want to do a hassle, just take the 5,000. I'm sure that's it. And the people wouldn't help me on the phone. I was very nice, but at one point I got a little not nice because, then the last person I had taught me a lesson. Patience. She was very kind. She said that's why they were doing that. And so it was good. But yeah, you got to be. And once you learn it, there's universal test you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
well, and that's the other thing about being spiritual. You will get tested. It's not like, oh, I'm spiritual now and that's it. No, that's not it. You're still very grounded and human, and you're going to be having all kinds of tests, as you just said. You just had a test.
You become more appreciative of being human and more
Yes,
appreciative of being a soul who's having a human experience, I would say. And
right.
that's what I feel. And try to be what you would like other people to be. Try to show others what you want, right? To show
Yeah,
others the way to be, just by your example of living, your example
yeah.
of your expression,
Hmm.
how you live, how you share, good words to say to people. No judgment. Try not to judge others because everybody has their
No,
stories. And who are we, better or worse? We're not. We're all have our own unique stories, so no one's better or worse. Don't judge others. You never know the background with them.
you never do. No, you
No.
never do. Love
They
and
can be your greatest teachers also. Those people can
oh,
be your greatest teachers in this world.
I always wonder, if you're angry to somebody, did somebody step in to give you a lesson?
Be
I
determined.
always, yeah, think about that. And as it's happening, have to slow myself down. And sometimes I can't, but I
Mhm.
try to because then I always know I'm getting a lesson. I just know it. Love and care unconditionally is a great way to grow spiritually. Really,
Definitely.
it's what we were talking about. Just love and care. Love and care. I said, my little grandson the other day, he said to me, I really like you, Gigi. And I said, well, I really like you too, but I really love you. I'm trying to teach him love. I really like you, Gigi.
I'll go one step more and love you. Yes.
Love you. Brain. So Teresa Tomlinson says brain and heart coherence, care, gratitude, appreciation, and
Oh,
compassion.
that's great, Teresa. Really beautiful. Really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
You mentioned this earlier, Kelly, but expressing yourself in creative acts, music, or
Oh, yeah.
painting,
Oh,
or dance. I dance all the time for my workshops, and I sing around my house. I sing in the car. I just can't stop, and I enjoy the moments. You have to enjoy the moment, even if it's
yeah.
something nasty. Something see the good. Try to get the good from it. You're learning
Right.
something. If the
Right.
universe is all about love and good things, then it's your perspective that's off.
Hmm. I like that. I like that.
I know that just came in my head.
Here's another thing, everybody. You get more spiritual. Read all the
Read books.
time. And
Read books.
here is a great book, Adventures of the Soul. If you want to talk about spirituality and some adventures, this is a great book. James, I
Thank you.
love this book. I love
Good
this book.
book.
And
That's a good book.
there's another book that people may have forgotten about, The Power of Love. This is another great book.
It's probably my second favorite. My first, of course, Talking to Heaven, but the
Yeah.
second favorite, Power of Love, is just a simple
Mhm.
reminder of us and the power of love, exactly what it is. And each of us should do it every day. We have that. That comes from, I'm sure I mentioned this before on the show, but I brought a group of people to Sedona, Arizona, many years back, and to see UFOs for a weekend. So we went on a Saturday night to Boynton Canyon at 10 o'clock, and we said, okay, we're here. And nothing happened. And I was like, oh, it's going to go on. If you all played money, oh my God, what's going to happen here? My Capricorn rising responsibility. So then I heard a voice say to me, you have to meditate or pray So I told that to my group, and we did. We meditated, and 10 minutes later, after meditation, we all started seeing these objects, these colors, these lights in the sky, because we had to raise our frequency in order to see them.
Wow. Yeah.
And the man that was helping us said, "They're here." I said, "Yeah, I see that they're all over." He said, "Can you get communication?" So I walked out of this field and I opened myself up to receive it. And it was a very high vibration. And I felt that it had dumbed themselves down in such a finite place. And they
Oh.
said, "You people, you human beings have the energy of love all around you, yet you don't use it. Why is that?" Came from the Pleiades. Yeah.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
Yeah.
They're so full of love. You can always tell when I'm working with somebody from the Pleiades, they usually have like light blue eyes or light eyes, and they cry often. They're very, very sensitive, and they love water and dolphins. That's how you can tell
Wow.
Pleiades. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Peggy Tripp says, I have the book, The Power of Love, and the cards. They are beautiful. Oh,
Thank you. Yes, the
those
cards are
cards
really
are
good. Cards are
great.
great. Yeah. I'm gonna start doing readings on my soul care on Mondays. I'm gonna start throwing out some cards for the group. So on Monday, follow me in soul care.
Oh, good. Oh, you know what? I do want to say something too, because what somebody asked me, it was a great, I think it was Maria Carp Diem. You had asked us earlier, uh, like
Yes.
right now with empaths. So I want to talk about that. With empaths are people that are highly sensitive, highly gifted, highly sensitive to energy, highly sensitive to energy around them, and they can feel everything. And then there's a thing called HSP, highly sensitive person. Highly sensitive person is someone who, they might feel cold. It's more almost physical sensations. They feel sensitive to touch. They feel all kinds of things, almost more physical than than empaths. Empaths are they feel energy when they walk into a room,
They
and
pick it up. They pick
they
it up.
pick it up. And so the question was, these people are now in business. You're doing things on Zoom, and you have Zoom fatigue, and they're having, how do you protect your energy, James, is what people are asking. How do you protect your energy and stay spiritual and grow spiritually when you're trying to do work in this kind of environment?
Well, there are different techniques that I incorporate on Zoom as well as in everyday life. I do the same thing, which is I run my energy. And running your energy, I do that when I'm doing it right now. As I'm talking to you, I'm running my
Right.
energy. I do it all the time. And it's really just because energy is always flowing through us, and because empaths, sensitives, will pick up other people's energy, foreign energy, debris when they walk into a room. They're like,
Yep.
they cling on to them. So you got to run that energy out of you. So that what I do, and it works pretty well, is I will bring Mother Earth energy up to, like, the intention of bringing Mother Earth energy up to my feet, up my legs. You can see that a color of green or red, whatever you want to. It's your first chakra, second chakra, third chakra, the solar plexus, and then the heart chakra. Bring all the earth energy all the way to the four chakras. And then I will bring cosmic energies or sky energy down
Ooh.
from the cosmos into the top of the head, then around the back, because the psychic center is behind the head here, and around the neck, down to the heart. And that's the father energy, which is a very subtle, different energy than earth energy. And it's very, it's a lighter energy.
Yeah.
And then I blend the two together, I mix those together, and then send forth like a ray of those mixed light out like an arc, and it falls down to earth. And I do that all simultaneously. So it's like, a water fountain, if you will. It's going up, down,
Yes.
out, running all at the same time. So it clears out the spaces, the energy centers, the auric fields. It really, really works. A very well-known healer from Japan taught me that many years ago, and I've used it ever since. Another thing I do, which I haven't done yet on Zoom, I haven't found it necessary. I did it every day in the Ghost Whisperer. I worked at Universal Studios. I did it outside the gate, as I talked about today in my soul care. The energy was so harsh that I done studio sets that what I would do is I'd sit by the freeway before I go into the the gate, and I would sit and I'd put a mirror around me with the reflections out, and I'd be sitting in 360 degrees. So it's like a mirror ball. So any energies coming to me wouldn't stay on me, they reflect out, and they'd bounce back. So I do that as well. And also another thing that I do, which I've done here in Zoom, I'm in my office right now. I'm in my space. This is my space.
Yeah.
And I create a vessel, like, I can almost say Star Trek, beam me up. Like, I have this light, this column of light that goes here. And I have all my things I love in that column of light, and pure love and joy. And I fill it with that energy. That helps a lot.
Those are great tips to use when you're doing Zoom and in business and just in life in general.
And listen, it's a glimpse. It's a great Zoom is a great opportunity for everybody because it's a glimpse into someone else's life. So
It's true.
not only the talk right here, because everyone's like, oh, what's in the back shelf? What book is she reading? Oh,
Yes.
this one. They're always looking behind them, right?
Yes.
Everybody is. So you're sharing your life with them. So again, it's an opportunity for you to share your life with them. So how are you, but like the credit card company, how are you today? Do you like my hangings? Oh, this book over here you really like. It's just you're sharing a lot of yourself.
Right.
So that way, so you're sharing your space, and it's an opportunity to show goodness in that space and light and laughter too.
Julie Baker says, "Cone of silence from Get Smart."
Exactly.
Is what
You got it. I would have said that first. Exactly. Very good. That's exactly right.
I do it. I do. Heidi Marie Schaller says, "When an empath and healer like myself send you unconditional love, can you both feel it?"
Yes.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure. I miss
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you very much. I miss that when I work in demonstrations around the country and stages with, people, the gratitude people have after work just feels so great. And,
Yeah.
mediums give stuff out. You never get any feedback, really. You don't. I mean, years later, someone will come and say, you brought something through and you don't remember, but, that's really nice when people get together as a group effort and they do that.
Yes.
I was once honored by Michael Beckwith. It's Agape church.
I was there it was in Burbank. I remember. I was there.
Jackson, composer, that lady who did was fabulous. And I remember Michael said, "Okay, everybody, 2,000 people in the room, let's send love to James." And everyone held their hands. And I had to receive it, and that was really hard because I never like to be in the spotlight per se. I'm really not that type of very shy kind of Virgo, believe it or not. So that was kind of hard, but I received it. I did. I said, "I deserve this, and I received it. Thank you." Right? I was grateful
You were
for it.
actually glowing that night. I took a picture of you, and the light was just pouring out of you.
I was dancing with all the choir people and
Unbelievable evening.
It was great evening.
Yeah.
One of the highlights of my spiritual journey.
Yeah.
So I think also growing spiritually, try to be enthusiastic and have an excitement about what you're going to learn different each day. So when I get in bed in the morning, I look at my dog and I say, "Okay, it's a brand new day. What are we going to learn today?" And we walk out that door in excitement of learning something new. So each day, something new, have excitement about how is today going to be different, especially since we have COVID now. You don't want to do the same thing. I'm literally going to get one of those calendars with the dates on them, and they have in hospitals, so like Monday, February 14th, and you can rip it off. Because there are days, what day is it? We're in March already? So each day I'll rip that off too, because if you do the same thing over and over again.
It's so true. It's so true.
Day. So, but do something, so excitement, like, I planted a plant today in a different place. Hey. But it's something fun. You let your soul sing. You let your soul see freedom in this earth that's a very confined and limited space here. Try to get away from that, find freedom, find love, find joy, where others won't. And when other people say something that's very depressing, I'm worried about this, turn it around, make it positive. My good friend Jordy Fisher taught me that. And when it was a cruise, I first met her years ago. Her son had passed. I'm walking up on the plank to go in, and my partner at the time, Brian, was in front of me. And I looked around, and this lady, with beautiful green eyes, looked up. She goes, "Hi, I'm here because of you." And I said, "Hi, what's your name?" She said, "Jordy Fisher." I said, "Oh." And I said, "Good for you. You have a good time." She goes, "Well, my suitcase didn't make it, but I did. It doesn't matter. I can wear the same thing every day." And I turned to Brian and said, "We're hanging out with her. She has the greatest attitude." So many people would be like, Right. And Jordy, that's the way Jordy is.
She's the best.
It comes from a space of love. Everything is love. There's no reason why we shouldn't be of love. It's just an illusion not to be of love. Everything's of love.
I was going to say, to add to that, add the deeper meaning to things. So when you all of a sudden if you see a totem out there like a cardinal, people are writing about cardinals. Really ask the cardinal who it is. What is he there for? Or she? And ask who it is. I mean, if you see whatever kind of totem you see out there, you might see a butterfly, you might have a dream of a tiger, have a dream of a bear. Look these up because it keeps you on a spiritual awareness. It keeps you, get one of those, they have these great books where you can open them up to any page. In fact, one book that I love that I open up to any page, James, is The Quiet Mind.
The best.
Any page, you open it up and you read it, and it puts you in such a state of spirituality, of deep knowing who your soul is. It's the greatest thing ever, greatest gift.
And with that, Kelly, besides the signs from those totems or things, I call it the art of discovery. So every day with that excitement, art of discovery, and you see things with coincidence, or ask, what is the meaning behind this? What am I learning from this? Well, so instance, a FedEx guy dropped something off today, and I'm sure he had a hard time with everything going on. And he said, "Are you James?" "I'm James." He goes, "I got a package." I said, "Aren't you a good person bringing packages to people, making people feel happy?" He goes, "Ha, you're funny." I said, "Yeah, well, thank you. I really appreciate your work." He goes, "Thanks, man." I said, "Okay, son." But how many people do that to a guy? He's had a
Right.
hard time since COVID, probably delivering a lot of things.
Well, I know my guy by his name. His name is Jade, and I'm like, "Hi, Jade," and he brings my dog some dog biscuits, and I just love it. Laura Parmley Hoffman says it's called The Quiet Mind by White Eagle.
White
That's the book
Eagle.
I held up.
And White Eagle was a spirit, the guy that came through the medium Grace Cook in the 30s, I believe, in England. And
Mhm.
there are many books, White Eagle, and the White Eagle Lodge. It's literally a lodge that's been set up all over the world. The White Eagle Lodges would meet every Tuesday or Thursday. I don't know if they still exist, but I belong to some of those, and it's just
Mm.
wonderful. All his old White Eagles sayings
Mhm.
or insights are just beautiful. As Kelly said, it brings you to a certain vibration and level.
Yes. I mean, every moment of the day is an opportunity to become more spiritual or to learn things. As you were saying, a great thing too is to put on some music and where does it take you? Where's the music taking you? What are you feeling that day? Pay attention to your emotions. That's another way it's a gift. Your emotions are a gift. Pay attention. Do you need to alter them? Do you need to change them? Do you need to grow into them?
How do I feel about this? How do I feel about this music? How do I feel about my
Yes.
dancing? How do I feel about
Right.
that tablecloth on that table? Should
Mhm.
I change something over here? How do I
Yeah.
feel about it? I'm just finding for my own house, and because I've been retired now a year, and I finally have a chance to unpack boxes I've had 5 years, and change my house around. I'm like really excited because
Wow.
put it over here, try this over there, and it's new and it's exciting and it's
Mhm.
an expression of your soul. And as Clay said, the emotions, feel your way through it. How do I feel about
Right.
this? Why do I feel like this? And when you're
Yeah.
reading a book, read those words, and words can put you in a high vibration. So I just
Yes.
unpacked some books. I was reading them to Kelly yesterday, and
Oh,
some of the sayings and sentences are just like, woof. I'm going to read something at the end. I have one here for
yeah.
everybody. But it's just they put you in a high frequency, and that's you grow spiritually. Your awareness. You have to open up that awareness to an expanded consciousness. That's what it.
Yes. So Scott Huff says, I just finished his book. It was so good. I'm not sure which book that was, but was
I'm
that
sure he's
White
talking about
Eagle or How to
which
Grow? Oh, How to Grow.
mine. How to grow spiritually. That's our topic. Okay.
Yeah. That's good.
So a couple of things also about growing spiritually, I liked them, was doing good works. We talked about that, and that you're proud of, and developing your personal practice, but keeping it going. So, for instance, maybe it's
Yeah.
yoga, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's walking around the block, whatever it is, keep it going.
Mhm.
That's something you can do. I decided I'm putting in flowers in my garden as a cutting garden. That means I have to go and cut them and bring them in the house. Now, I'm not that type of person, but I'm going to do that. That's going to be a practice. So
I
every
never
day I'm going to do it. You
I'd
never
never
heard of
heard that expression, but I love it. Cutting garden. So flowers that you can cut and
and
put away.
bring it to the house and
Okay. I'm
enjoy
all
them
for that. I
and
love that.
enjoy them I did this on my on my soul no the James Starseed, my YouTube channel,
Yes.
James Starseed. Everyone knows that, I think. You don't, you should. But the last one we put up was on grounding. I talked about grounding, and I
Yes.
have to laugh at myself because I'm such a fool. And when I was there and I'm picking lemons off the tree and I'm showing people lemons, and I'm saying, and you thank them. I'm like, thank you. Come on, I wouldn't want the tree. But I think okay, maybe it's not time yet, but I do thank all the fruit if I have a lemon tree or the flowers I cut them, or I feel really bad about killing anything. I can't. Was a plant, an
Ah,
insect in the house. Brian used to have these rules. A lot of these rules. If they're in my space in my house, they're my control. They can't. I said, Brian, you can't do that. Come on, world's the best creatures. If you had a tiny little insect, a big hand, how would you feel? You gotta really put yourself another way
yeah.
spiritually grow, which really was number one for me. Help me put yourself in that person's space. Put yourself
Yes.
in that little insect space. What would you feel if you were in that little body? What would you feel if you were
Mm.
that animal? If you're even an animal, how do you feel as the dog or the cat or the horse? How do you
Ah,
feel? Change your position. You become them. Even the person you're having a problem with, or fight or conflict, you become them. Step into their shoes and look at it from their perspective, just for 5 minutes, and try to see what they're seeing. It'll change you.
that's a showstopper with that one, actually, because it will really
It
quickly
is.
put you into a compassion or empathy
You
piece,
betcha. And
which
if you're
is
not,
all about growing spiritually.
then you got to
Mhm.
ask yourself why not. What's shut down within your emotional body that hasn't been
Yes.
dealt with, maybe. because we're in
Yes.
our body. So some of your emotions has not been dealt with, and a lot of people who are angry, like look at some Facebook comments or texts
Yep.
on Instagram. I'm depressed for so many years. How can I be stop 30 years of depression? Well, do the work then. Let it go. It's someone else's fault but your own if you're keeping it
Right.
that long. It
Right.
become more attached to your pain body is really what it is. That becomes your identity, your pain body.
Yes.
And
And
life is
that
too short.
life is too short, and you really want to work on that. If you discover you're depressed and you've been depressed for, it doesn't even matter, 20 years, 1 year, enough's enough already. Do something about it. As an adult, you do something about it. You can
Oh, I
only
did. I
heal
certainly did.
yourself. Yes.
I went through a divorce, and I was it was
Oh,
a rough time. And I went to my doctor. Said, you should go on some antidepressants. I really don't like to do that. She goes, well, they're very mild. Well, if I only knew how great they were, I would have done them years before that because it was the best thing. It just evens out the brain
Yeah.
chemistry.
Yeah.
It's very mild, and
Mhm.
it got me through some hard times, difficult
Yeah.
times sometimes, and I think that's okay. And a
Mhm.
glass of wine every once in a while, fine with me. Cup of coffee in the morning, I'm good to go.
Absolutely. Couldn't
Yeah.
agree more.
Little things in
Couldn't.
life, right? And that's
Right.
another thing. Appreciate the little things in life.
Yes.
Appreciate again, because I've been in this garden for few years here. Appreciate the placement of things. Appreciate that stone over how that looks, or the way I don't know how someone dresses, or I don't. I just start noticing those little things. And I notice how people act, how people because I go to Target. That's my big hangout now, and I always will notice. I swear to God, it's gotten this interesting. Like, I was like,
Oh,
every night.
hey.
You get out of the car, are they wearing the mask? What kind of mask are they wearing? Are they
Right.
covering up the nose, not just the mouth? Okay, what are they buying? Did someone wipe the carts or not? I'm like, yeah, and it's like the whole thing, and then you just gotta laugh at it. But you gotta have a sense of humor about the whole thing because it's just so ridiculous with these masked people. I mean, it's just those things so
Okay.
ridiculous. And
How
then
many
the
times
conversations with people, it's like, oh my, this is
Oh my
hysterical.
god, how many times have I wanted to say to somebody, "Hey, where did you get that mask?"
Oh,
I
Denavia
really
just did it the other day. We're at Target. My friend Denavia, she went to school. Goes, girl, girl. What'd you say? Where'd you get that mask from? It's all like little diamond type of thing. Not diamond. It looked like bejeweled. She goes, I got it in LA. She goes, I got to get myself. I got to wear something like that.
I guess we're
That was the
soon
beginning of the Target day.
I think soon we're gonna see Gucci ones, Louis
No,
Vuitton ones,
Indeed.
Beverly. Yeah.
I've
Oh,
already seen love. I like that love. I did ask
oh,
the person, where'd you get that? It says love. I like that.
oh,
Yeah.
that would
So
be
there's
wouldn't that be a great one to have actually?
or
Um,
a teacher saying you are loved. How about that?
I
So when
love
someone
that.
reads that, maybe I should do that. You are loved, and you wear that, and people read it. You are loved.
Well,
Good
and
idea.
that sends a message out, not only for you, but it sends a message out, and that raises your vibration, and that's really keeps you spiritually awake. That's a great one, James. I love
I'm
that
gonna
one.
make that like my cups. Thank you, Spirit. I'm gonna have my friend make. She makes those things. I'm gonna have the "You Are Loved" T-shirts.
I love that.
I'm going into retail, Kelly. Who knew?
Well, I told you this afternoon, and I said, I
You
want you to
did.
sell these mugs. I think these are the greatest mugs ever.
I have them. I have a whole
I
bunch of those.
love them.
I sell them at my events all the time, but I will put them back on. It's just a matter of getting fulfillment house to do it now because I'm at that age. I'm not going to be sitting in an office fulfilling orders.
Teresa Tomlinson says 3 important things to do in life: live, laugh, and love. Right on.
It's hanging in my garden. That sign.
Mhm.
Yep, it's very true. Very,
You
very true.
have to. You have to. Oh, Scott Huff, my mask is covered in hearts, and people take a second look.
Oh,
Oh,
Scott.
I
I,
love that
and you're
one.
great, Scott. You're a great person.
Oh, so sweet. My goodness. How do you get your glasses from not fogging up? That's
Well,
a really hard time.
this is a good question. I mean, I love that, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you how to do that because I was wondering it, and I heard about this on CNN.
Okay.
So if you're wearing glasses like I do and Kelly does, and you're getting steamed up, it means that your seal is not correct. Your seal is not to the nose, so it means there's an air pocket there. You got to seal it up, and that is not good for you to. The reason why you're wearing the mask is you don't receive
Right.
anyone else's air, so it means you can't receive it. So you got to make sure that's very tight. The best mask can buy the MP95s because that has
Okay.
a little metal part on it, and that will help tremendously. So I noticed that. Now you'll notice it. So that has to be locked up. That's why that happens.
Locked up. All right. So,
Locked
Dawn, if
up.
you're listening, it's got to be locked up.
Ron doesn't know that. Kelly,
Ha-
shocked. I'm shocked at that. My goodness.
Argy Mandaka says, I
Okay,
will
Arya.
buy your love shirts and masks.
And another thing to grow spiritually, we talked a little bit about this, but share with others. I've often talked about this, but just those little things. Share with others how nice they are, or that kind word with them, or thank you, or oh, that was sweet of you to do that. Those little things make a person feel good. Let a person feel
Yes.
good. Try to make a person feel good about, because a lot of people don't feel good about themselves, and it's a hard world right now, and they need that. So just say something, make them feel good. I mean, be genuine, of course, but I mean, here we go again at Target, because it's my lifetime. I'll always talk to people and say things. I don't go out of my way, but I'll say something. My friend Tadafi and I, besides the mask, she said, "Sir, where did you get those clothes? They are gorgeous." You know, oh, I like the soup. Where did you get the soup? It's on sale. And people come down running the aisles and say, "You two are so funny," because we have a good time laughing. We just and people like to hear good things about themselves. A comment, a nice
They do.
word,
They
nice word.
do.
That's about great
Yes.
what it's said.
Be
And
kind to one another.
it's not a hard thing to do. Don't
No.
think it's not hard, and you won't regret it. Just the opposite. You'll be very happy you started doing it.
Yes.
Start tomorrow if you haven't yet, because every
Right.
day is changing. Every day is a new day.
I love that. Tammy Johnson says, today is compliment day. I do it always. Oh, I like that.
Oh, that's great.
Compliment
Compliment
day.
Jay. Love that. That's
That's a
fantastic.
really good one.
Compliment Jay. That's a good one.
Oh, I love that. This is so great. Jen Dulong says, I feel more hopeless about something now, and I tuned in at the wrong moment. No, Jen, you tuned in at the right moment. Don't feel hopeless.
Hopeless about what, though? Can we wonder why?
I don't know. I don't know.
When you feel helpless, many times it's a sense of out of control, being out of control of the outcome of something,
Mhm.
right? So sit with that for a while. It's okay. It's all going to work out. You know, the universe conspires for our highest good, and
Yes.
things happen in God's time, not our time. I always say that, in God's time, and it takes time for the spirit people, the spirit world, if you will, to set things up in motion for the humans then to partake in them.
Yeah.
And it can happen immediately because they see the bigger picture than we do. So it's a test in your faith also. Never have hopelessness. There's always a better day. Always a better day. Always. Yeah.
Sue Dodson says, each clear night, I stand in my backyard, look up, and thank God for the little patch of stars over my house. Oh,
Sue,
I
that's
love
so
that.
great. That's so great, Sue. See, that
That's
little
great,
thing
Sue.
is so powerful.
Yes. Well, it really does keep you in that spiritual awe. Spiritual awe.
You need to bring your mind there. I do it every day in whatever way, is
Mhm.
gratitude or saying compliments or just feeling good about myself or dancing or singing or just acting a fool or planting. I try to keep myself in a high vibration. And one thing I've noticed though, you got to be very careful because when you can only be so nice, but you also got to be aware. You got to still be human. You can't be so spiritually good, so spiritually aware that you know earthly good. Because I find that sometimes I got so generous or whatever that people took advantage of me,
Yeah,
and I didn't even see. I was broadsided because then there's
that's
that
true.
human thing. So you got to be aware of the human things that people do too. Like people would contact me just to if there was to do something or whatever. They just wanted to meet me to get a reading, but lots of those. And it's kind of
I bet you had thousands of those.
yeah. And Brian, my partner I had for a while, he would people would get through to him on cruises or workshops and get to know him. Only found out later they just wanted to get to me, and that's sad to me. That's sad. I understand it, but it's a sad
I
thing.
know.
But
I
yeah,
know.
that's the only thing. Being aware makes you more aware too of humans. I don't not trust humans, but I now can see someone for who they are right away.
Oh,
So
immediately.
so
Immediately. Being an empath is a good thing, actually, because you can see
true.
it right away. Um, I love that.
We just got that
Let's
love subject that hurts a little bit, Renee. When it was taken down.
Yeah.
Love the
Love
subject was forgotten.
Thanks, Kate. Love this subject about spirituality, learning a lot. Thank you, James and Kelly. Oh,
Thank you very much.
yeah.
Yes,
So,
Sherry Robinson says, I put my peace candle, inhale my essential oils,
oh,
and feel the vibes. Very
okay.
true.
So, Shari, I have my essential oils right here too. I love them. And often,
Mine
like,
right here too.
you've got
Love them.
yours too. I just love them. I just, what did they used to call them back in the day? Maybe smelling salts or something. I don't know, but I just love it. I take a big, smell it, and then it just puts me in such a good mood. Here's another thing. With all those lemons you have, James, I love the smell of lemons. Like to cut a
Sure.
lemon and to smell it, and I just love the smell of lemon. Anything. It really quickly picks me up.
It's also detoxes, by the way, and it's a good one to
Yeah.
detox people from your life. So I
Oh,
learned this from when I was on the Ghost Whisperer. We had a lady who used to take away curses and all this sort of thing. But she just comes from way Italian background. These little old family things. wise tales, but it worked. If someone in your life is treating you badly, if you want someone out of your life, she said, you write their name down, you cut a lemon, you just open the lemon up, but don't cut it in half, just make a sliver in the lemon, and you stuff the piece of paper in that lemon, and you put it back in your freezer, and that'll be the end of them. It works. It works. At least it worked for me a couple of times, and clients of mine use it, and it worked. So it's a good one.
Wow, I'll be darned.
Releases that energy right away.
I should have brought that into Bad Siblings.
Sell some lemons.
So this is a good question. Zelinka Portaga, are there curses? What do you think?
I don't believe in evil. First of all, I don't believe in evil. I think that's a man-made. I guess it's human-made. I think fear-based, and I think fear can do a lot to people's minds. We got to be very careful of the human minds. It's very sensitive, and we put fear in there and throw things off. I don't believe in curses per se. I don't believe that, but I do believe in negative energy. I do believe someone has a bad intention, and they send you bad intention energy. I think that we can perceive it as a curse, but a bad intention, bad energy, I think people can do that. A curse, Mary Ann Winkowski, who worked on Ghost, I was just talking about, she used to take curses off places and people. And I mean, she had these incredible stories about how generations could not live in this house because certain things happened, and we found out years later because the settlement of the house, they were dishonest and things happened and someone cursed them. So it could be, but she was often say negative energy. And I like that negative energy. Remember, energy, it's how you use it. It's always the intention behind it. It's a powerful thing. If you want good things in your life, be good. If you want bad things, do bad.
It makes it very simple, doesn't it?
Boomerang.
Yeah, it's a boomerang. Absolutely. Janelle Thompson Frost, conditioning is a huge part of trauma. It is, Janelle. It is a huge part. So if you've been conditioned to receive and continue to take on trauma, then you're going to take on more trauma. But it's a muscle. You've got to get out of there. And if you've been in trauma, and if you've had traumatic experiences, everybody, and anybody who's depressed too, should again look at healingtrauma.org, and it's about somatic healing. Great therapists that are there. You put your zip code in, and if you're in another country, they're all over the world, and you can find a great therapist. You may only just need a few sessions, and I think it's a great idea now, and that's going to really help with trauma.
As you're saying that, of course, I'm always listening when you're saying that, because suddenly I get something else too from it. And I just want to say that the traumatic experiences, again, lessons to learn. So what have you learned from that traumatic experience about yourself? What are you learning that's different about yourself, about your relationship with other people, about your situation in life? How do you look at your situations in life? Are you a victim? Are you empowered? Do you give your power away? So there's all different reasons why we hold on to trauma and become victimized. And we don't need to be victimized. Somebody victimizes us, but we don't have to stay in that space. We don't have to. I mean, yes, it's very true.
No. Oh, I love that, Janelle. Healing is the new black. I love that. You know what? But it really is. I'm going to tell Shirley, Dr. Shirley, you said that. That is so great, because it really is. I mean, this is what we're here for. Tammy Johnson, I've been in trauma therapy, cognitive to be exact, to retrain your brain. Yes. Cognitive therapy is about retraining your brain, and trauma therapy is releasing trauma and working through the traumas. It's a great way to become free. And the freer you become, the more you become who you really come to be here. You get to know yourself. Yes.
You open up that bubble more and more and more. So
yes.
You can have in life and get more joy and more love. That's what it's about.
Okay. Oh, Chris Sagalo says, I am a somatic experiencing practitioner. Good for you, Chris. And it's a wonderful way to heal from trauma. Oh, Chris, I love the work you're doing, because we're going to need that. And you can see that, through the course of this last year and now going forward, it will bring a lot of trauma to people. Frankly, people that are recovering from COVID, people that know people who have lost from COVID, people are going to need somatic experience practitioners. So I'm glad you're doing it, Chris. Bless your heart.
And a friend of mine stepped by for lunch to hang out. I haven't seen her in a long time, and she's a real estate agent. And we're just talking, and she just mentioned, Zoom is it's now a verb. It's a noun, Zoom, the Kleenex. And she said, so the world has changed. We're not going to go back the way it was, because people are finding they don't need to be in office space when they can work from home. And I agree with her. Things are changing. Dynamics have definitely changed now. I do think people still get together, but not as much, or maybe they don't need buildings to work from. I mean, it would change. What you mentioned, Kelly, these big changes, and here we are. Definitely, I
Yep.
think around May there should be an opening. Some kind of. I got
Oh,
that
I do
last
too.
started that the month of May will be an insight into this healing
Yeah.
of I really do. I think it was started in the laboratory. I really do. I think it was released from a laboratory in some way. I really do think so.
I thought that immediately.
Without a doubt, I believe that to be true.
Oh gosh, I
And
do too.
whether it was intentional or not, I don't know. But boy,
Mm.
you see what happened. Confusion.
Michelle Bonin, if we look at all we have and are grateful for it, the more things flow into our lives to be grateful for, and this changes our focus and vibration.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yes,
ding.
that's
Very
it.
true. That's it. There's a secret right there.
That's the secret.
That's
Yes.
great. It's great. Wow.
Thank you for that one. That is what healing is the new sexy.
That's great. That's
I
great.
love that. So great. Um, let me see. Oh, and this is a great comment. Shari Robbins says, oh, I have to get that. It was such a good one. 3 major traumas is what put her on her spiritual path. And Shari, I really appreciate that because traumas do put us often on our spiritual path.
Definitely.
And so they're there for a reason. They're there to wake us up, always to wake us up. And so the
And
more,
deaths also, by the way. Deaths
abs-
also. They put us on.
absolutely,
You lose your child,
absolutely.
it forces you to go on your spiritual path.
Yeah, it's going to put you on
And
that path.
disease is the same thing. Illness,
Yep,
same thing.
yep, yep.
Appreciate yourself now.
Yeah, wow.
I was talked earlier unpacking boxes of books I've had in the garage for 5 years because I haven't had a chance to do it. Now I have, and Kelly, you'll be the recipient of some
I
lovely
can't wait.
spiritual light books. And we're going to do a show on astrology. We mentioned that. So
Next week, we're going to do some basic astrology things, and it's going to be great.
yes, and then we're going to do the physical. For those who came from Soul Care, and I said tonight we're going to talk about the physical death. I apologize. I was wrong.
But
I got my days mixed, but
we're
that's
going to
coming
do
up.
that, and that's coming up. That'll be a great show
How to
too.
prepare for death,
How
basically.
to
So,
prepare. Yeah.
yeah. And anyway, I went through my box of books, and I got to let go of some, which it's hard for me to let go of books, but some I had to. I've never done, and a lot of them are to Kelly because she'll appreciate them. And others I'm keeping. And this is one of the classics I had. It's called Light in the Spiritual Path by Roy Eugene Davis. Collected Writings. This is volume 3, and I'll show that to you. It's out of
Wow.
print. That's a very interesting story. I was working when I first moved to California. I was working at a hospital. I had many temporary jobs. I didn't do anything spiritual yet. And I was working, I knew I had to be there for a reason. And every Tuesday we'd have volunteers. I worked in the Human Resources Department. And we would have volunteers, these older people, 70s and 80s, come in, and they would do some filing or index cards. And I'd sit there and talk to them, doing my work. And one lady talked about spiritual things, and she gave me this book. It's Masters from the Far East, what the series of that. And this is from based on some of those volumes of those books. This was $2. This book was, but I want to read you this little paragraph from this Light in the Spiritual Path because preparing for the show, one of the books I pulled out of the box was this one, and the chapter 1 is The Confusion and Despair of the Soul. So I just wanted to read just a little bit of it. There's a lot of great words here, just a little bit, okay? To take the way of least resistance and arrive at the grave after a few decades of aimless living is not the purpose of our being in the world. To follow blindly the advice of those in authority and be a slave to conformity and tradition is to suppress our highest urges and deny personal growth. There must be a way to live so as to ensure the stability of the social order and at the same time provide for the unfoldment of man's highest potentials, and there is. Certain laws and traditions are useful to man's social well-being. There must be some guidelines if humanity is to go forward on an even course. Yet, there must be room within the pattern of the overall purpose for the individual to function freely. To destroy institutions and disregard traditions without mankind as a whole having come to the place where it is divinely led is a sure way to disaster. We observe certain other outer rituals and rules of behavior in order to ensure group harmony, but this does not mean that in time rituals and rules cannot be modified to meet new and existing needs. Orderly transformation is required rather than explosive revolution, and this, fortunately or unfortunately, usually takes some time to come about. It is to men and women of universal vision, endless patience, and purposeful action that the world is indebted.
Oh,
Great book.
Wow. That
I
says,
picked that paragraph out of.
wow. That was great.
So it's.
But don't waste your life.
Don't waste your life. You don't want to get up to the side. We talked about this earlier on our just talking to each other, where people we talked about they get to the side, they just wake up. It's like, where am I?
Have a purposeful life.
Yeah. Today my soul care. That's what a lady has. But claims of suicide. Someone passed over. How can we help those on the other side with our prayers? Can we help them? And the answer, yes, you can help them. They feel and hear your thoughts and your words very clearly because they're in a mental vibration. And the mindset that they had when they passed over really is important. So if you can have a certain mindset while you're here, of spirituality, of awareness and expansion, that will help you when you arrive in the other world. When you go back home, because you'll remember it, and your transformation is easier, I guess.
Well, James, what a wonderful night. I hope everybody got to learn a lot of things tonight.
I hope so. Good topic. Very, very good. And next week will be astrology.
Yeah, it's going to be great. How fun.
Astrology.
Yay. All right, everybody.
Thanks, Renee. Thanks, Kellee. Thanks everybody for joining us. Okay.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
The James and Kellee Show.